The next model we need to create is our task input model. And the purpose of the task input model is to enable each task to have the right attributes when we're storing and saving and retrieving the task. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new Swift file within our models. Click on Next. Name the model task input. And then I'll just copy the model from the clipboard. So the model's been pasted. So this model will pass most code reviews, and this is exactly why most SwiftUI tasks apps fail in production. This struct, this model, is incomplete, it's wrong. It's just a bag of values. It doesn't enforce a single rule about a valid task. We will now refactor task import to enforce rules. So the first thing we will do is to create a new property called validation error bar validation error string. If title dot trimming characters dot white spaces, so remove any spaces from the string. If it's empty, then we just return title is required. As you can see, we're now validating the title property. If end date is less than start date, return end date must be after start date. If color hex is equal to nil, return invalid color value. So if you do not put these rules next to the imports, you will scatter validation across views. Scattered validation is why task apps fail and become inconsistent and buggy. We also need to add a return new here. And also a var is valid bool validation error is equal to nil. We have to also import SwiftUI so that we have access to the color class. We need to create another folder called extension because we need to extend on the color. So create a new group and just name the file color class extension. So that's the name of the folder. I needed to add a Swift file. So create a new file, select Swift file, and then add the file to be color plus extension for the Swift file. Click on create, and I'll just paste what's on the clipboard. And then now, the file that we created, it should compile. Let's try it now. It compiles. The next file we need to create is our task repository protocol. So let's create a new folder, a new group called protocols. And then create a new file, Swift file called task protocol. Task repository. And I'll just paste everything that I have on the clipboard. So this protocol looks boring, and that's exactly why it matters. Most SwiftUI tutorials skip this and talk directly to SwiftData or core data. That works until your app grows. Notice this doesn't accept a model object. It accepts an import. That's intentional, and that's where most apps go wrong. If your UI talks directly to the persistence model, refactoring becomes very difficult. And the same applies with migrations, and that's normally where the app dies. The next file we need to create is the SwiftData task repository file. So we just create a new folder for that, just call it repository, and then create a Swift file, give it a name, SwiftData task repository, click on create, and then I'll just copy everything that I have on the clipboard and then explain it. This is the part most Swift tutorials either skip or tightly couple within their SwiftUI. This struct is boring, and that's exactly what you want. This app doesn't depend on SwiftData, it depends on a contract. And the contract is task repository. The UI never creates task item, and that's intentional. The repository owns the persistence model, not the UI. Every write operation is explicit. There's no magic, no hidden save, no side effects. This signals reliability and predictability.